here playing historic best of 3 Merfolk. I've been stuck in low to mid diamond for a few days, not being able to play as much, and every time I do, it seems I'm hitting a bad matchup. Izzet Wizards has been huge in the meta the last week. Everyone trying out Slickshot Show Off, and so far it doesn't seem like there's a single best answer for it. So let's see what we come up against tonight. Alright, we're playing against Fred Mage. Don't think we've come up against this opponent before. One of the interesting parts about playing a lot in Diamond and Platinum is it's not a lot of the same opponents. This is an interesting hand. I think it's a keep. It's a bit of a gamble if he's on a Thoughtseize deck, but I think we should be fine here. So we're going to keep it and hope we turn something into a trop with that Shoreline. Oh, definitely not Thoughtseize if we're looking at 2 Ley Lines of Abundance. An aggressive green ramp deck. So obviously we're going to Shoreline Scout. I think we're going to convert the Rege into a trop here. We don't need Lords early. We need the interaction and potentially the card draw off that Sphalion. We can always turn extra things into Lords if we draw running lands with those Glasspool Mimics. That's both of the ones that we're playing in the deck, so hopefully we're not drawing too many more tapped lands here. Ooh, Nykthos on turn 2. We're just hoping they're kind of out of gas after that start. That does not look like they're out of gas. Probably going to be seeking an elf card. Oh, they're doing the untapped plan. What else have they got in hand? Mystic, that's not the end of the world. So we can't block that, but we can attack into that Freyalise next turn. So we're just going to play the trop. Get in with the Shoreline Scout and offer the trade. I don't know if they should take it here. That Mystic is pumping their Nykthos, but they always have the risk that we could drop a Lord or something here. Alright, they're taking the damage of the Planeswalker. We're going to put a Tunnel Guide out and hope to dig for some more lands next turn. What's their big play here? If they're double ley lining, are they just going to keep pumping up the little weenie elves every turn? Or are they going to drop a Crater Hoof or something big and nasty? I suppose they could just keep grinding through seeking elves with Freyalise and playing them out. It's not the fastest plan, but elves isn't exactly a bad matchup. We're not going to get on the front foot just because they're playing slow. Our most lucky thing here will be to draw into an untapped land so we can Tidebinder that Freyalise next turn. Alright, let's see what we're doing with 10 mana. Well, just pumping the team. That's not too bad. This could be a lot worse. Alright, just like we drew it up, an untapped land. So we are not going to offer the trade here. We'll just pass the turn. And maybe we keep them wondering, maybe we just get to hit that Freyalise with the Tidebinder. I don't suspect they're main decking any removal in a mono green deck. You never know, crazier things have happened with the modern fight cards. But I think if we can shut down that Planeswalker, all the gas they spent playing those ley lines early might let us start to turn this around. They're obviously suspecting we've got something. Knowing we tend to play at instant speed, but they can't have a great answer. They'd be playing it out already. Another Ley Line of Abundance. Alright, you can have as many of those as you want at this point. Anything but creatures. So we have to let that resolve. So I think they're trying to bait out what we've got to see if we were going to counter a Ley Line. Alright, let's hit that with the Tidebinder. We can't really afford to block with that Tishanas, so we're going to put this counter potentially on the Tunnel Guide. Drawing a land, so no counter. I would double block one of these Mystics if they decide to swing in this turn. Those ley lines still can keep pumping their team turn after turn after turn, which will be a problem for us eventually. Alright, they declined to swing in. So, we can play a Svellian this turn, I think, which means I think that Breeding Pool is coming in tapped, save us the 2 life. Let's see what we draw off of this. I'm going to put the counter, or try and put the counter on Svellian. Kumena, that'll be great to help us dig out faster than they can. And we'll put a Breeding Pool into play tapped and pass the turn. I'm still hoping they keep drawing more ley lines. That Svellian gives us an excellent blocker against their slow, grindy plan. And Kumena pumping our whole team would let us keep up with that, or drawing into cards will let us outrun them. Old Growth Troll, we're totally okay with seeing that. I am very curious what that last card in their hand is, though. Alright, no attacks. We clearly here play our Mutavault, play our Kumena. Go ahead and try and put another counter on Svellian. Oh, that's an excellent threat to show for next turn. So I think with that displayed, we're going to go ahead and attack with Svellian here. I'm going to attack straight in because we're not going to use that Tidebinder to block. Draw our Collected Company. If he wants to block, he has to lose a creature here. I don't think they will. Given it 20 life, I don't think I'd block here either. Oh, he's going to put the troll out. I guess he can turn it into another troll next turn. Oh. They had enough mana for that. Oh, yeah, free release. All right. So they get to block without dying. That's totally fine. I should have caught that. Let's put another Merfolk out to take advantage of that Collected Company next turn. And either draw some cards and chump block, or just pump the whole team with Kumena this turn. So if he hits a Crater Hoof or something else that gives all his creatures trample, we're just dead on the board. Kiora's not that bad, given where everything else is. Lets them create a ton of mana. Well, that Old Growth Troll is going to quickly become a problem with this much access to green mana to keep using those ley lines to pump. Even the elves are going to get out of hand pretty quickly. I'm just waiting to see some giant janky green X spell come out as that last card in hand that they've been holding on to the whole time. Alright, so with their creatures up to 9/9s, I should not have swung with that Svellian. Having that extra invincible blocker would have gone a long way. Alright, he's only attacking with the Trampler. We're not going to throw bodies in front of that. And we'll take the 9 damage. So here I think we're digging for Tricksters and any other disruption more than we're worried about the +1/+1 counters. So we're going to draw cards off Kumena. Oh, another Coco. That's nice. Alright, a Shoreline Scout. So because we've got 2 Cocos in hand, we're not going to be able to play a Glasspool Mimic for a while. So we're going to play one out as a land. We'll put one of the Shoreline Scouts in as a creature. Again, just another chump blocker. We can use that to put another counter potentially on Svellian. Pearl Trident's not bad hit off of that Coco. And we're going to pass the turn here. We at least know that if we need to block with Svellian, we can get her up to at least a 7/8 to block that Trampler. And we're hoping to hit some Tricksters here after they activate the ley lines a couple more times. Alright, so we're going to try and keep them from untapping. See if we can hit another Tishana's Tidebinder. We don't, unfortunately, have a chance to hit the Glasspool Mimics. Alright, so we've just got Lords. We've got a Reach and a Pearl Trident coming in. Try and throw another counter on Svellian. And we get a land instead. That's not the end of the world. They're going to be able to put a lot of counters on here. If they have any way to generate trample, we're just in big trouble. I really kind of wish Tishana's ability worked on enchantments, but with 3 ley lines out, it's not like we would be able to shut them down anyway. Let's see. I think the right move for them is to attack in and force us to do blocks. With only 4 attackers, though, no, our chumps are favorable. We can get in with a lot of damage on the crackback, just chumping with our 4 creatures that aren't producing any lasting value. We've got 3 card draws, or a pump the team off of Kumena and a card draw, and so we're going to go with the 3 card draw option. Especially with Reach on the table, if we can hit a second Regery, I think we win this. And activation number 2. And activation number 3. Stocking our hand back up. This is one of the main reasons why we run Kumena, because he is just outstanding at digging us out of big holes. So we've got 6 mana up, 2 collected companies in hand. Do we want to cast Asphalion and attack in? No, that doesn't make any sense yet. He's got 4 blockers, so he can stop. What are our biggest creatures? 5, 8, 4, 4, and take 3, 6, 9, 12. Yep, there's no reason to attack here. We're just going to pass the turn. Hold up Coco, we've got a Mutavault as an extra blocker or an extra Merfolk. And we're just in a race to see if he can draw something that pushes damage through before we can get enough tappers on the board to deal with his few giant blockers. I'm hoping we can make this pay. It's always satisfying when we're able to pull a game out against elves. See if we can hit a Tishana's on this Kiora again. No Tishanas. But we did get a Trickster. So, do we go Lord and Trickster, or Trickster and Silvergill? I think it's just Lord and Trickster. We've got a Pearl Trident. We don't have a Hexcatcher on the board right now, so we're going to use that Lord. Take that Trickster, tap down that Old Growth Troll, try and put another counter on Sphalion. The only argument I have there for potentially going Silvergill would be if we were to draw another Hexcatcher, we would be able to cast it. Oh, another Collected Company. He's got to be feeling some stress by now. Wonder if that card they're holding on to, either they're holding a land to convince me they've got something, just to keep me thinking. Wonder if it's some sort of fog variant. If it is, I'm probably going to play into it and just get blown out. Worry about it game 2. That would be a very odd choice for a main deck option. Alright, let's draw some cards. We're looking to take advantage of that Reach to tap down his blockers and get in with our giant beefy bunch of fish. A Hexcatcher end of turn would be amazing here. I'd rather cast that if we can. There's a Tidebinder for that Kiora. Draw another card. Activate the Mutavault and draw one more time. Alright, so Cavern as an untapped land is great. We can Cenote Scout, tap down one of his 17/17s. Check out what that top card is. Alright, he's scooping to just the implication. Really just ran out of gas early. So we're going to treat this a lot like any other green ramp deck, even though the build is a little bit different. Going to bring in some Eaten by Piranhas, another Tidebinder for those Planeswalkers, Mindsingers for the Mana Dorks. Now, I don't bring in Tail Swipes against these decks. often there's not good targets if they hit Utopia Sprawls or something along those lines. Wish I had some enchantment removal for those ley lines, but it's just not paying off these days. Sleep, reason it's in the deck is beating decks like this, and then Phyrexian Revoker is relevant against their planeswalkers. So that's our in. We got to pull out 9 cards against this deck. So Silvergill is not super relevant. I don't find Shoreline Scout super useful against these decks either. If the games are short, we're losing. So we generally dig into lands regardless. As we saw in the last game, Kumena is great, can be evasive, draw cards, pump the team. So we've got to cut something else here, and I think it's the Pearl Tridents. So we're going to cut 3 of them out and go to game 2. See if they've got anything crazy coming in out of the sideboard. I didn't see a Karn in that game. I don't know if that's just because they didn't draw it, or if they're playing a Karnless, mainly Elves deck with Freyalies instead. This seems fine, a little bit of disruption, and the Tunnel Guide to help dig us into lands, so we will keep it. Alright, we've got the Mystic. We'll play the Storm Giants just to make sure we don't make any mistakes. Probably the Tunnel Guide next turn. Oh, in that case, do we hold up a Hexcatcher? We've got a 3rd land already to let us cast that Tidebinder. I think we're going to hold up Hexcatcher, and we will Eaten by Piranhas the Mana Dork if we don't get to get something. But if he casts a 4-mana Planeswalker here, well, that's not going to do it. But, so we're going to take 4 damage off of that Old Growth Troll that we would have taken anyway, and then we are going to turn that Mana Dork into a skeleton. Okay, there's your confirmation. He does have Karn in the deck. Pretty standard green ramp, just with that Freyalie's Spice. That's good news. We have much more play against a standard green ramp deck than we do against a Elves deck. Alright, we're going to hold up a Tidebinder here. Hope they play a Planeswalker. We're going to take 9 or 10 damage. That's not the end of the world, although we are on the back foot. We're really hoping to draw into an additional land next turn and get that Collected Company out, but it really depends on what they're going to try and do. Maybe they'll try and hit that. Alright, they have 4 mana left. They could be baiting a Karn here, but let's just stop them from drawing with that Cavalier and get value out of this Tidebinder for sure. If they cast nothing and just attack, we're essentially sunk. So. Flukernos, oh, not that bad, but not great. So we're going to take 9. Play a land and pray our Coco is good. So we're hoping here maybe he activates Flukernos early so we can Tidebinder it, but really we need 2 Tricksters to buy some time. Storm the Festival is not going to be good for us unless they hard whiff. Well, at least it's not an easy choice. Let's see what they end up revealing. Anything notable in there? No. Oh, just a Leyline and a Nykthos. That's pretty much as much of a whiff as we could hope for. Alright, we're going to collect a company before attacks here, try and hit some Merfolk Tricksters. Exactly what we asked for. Close to exactly what we asked for. So that Mindsinger will steal the Mystic. That's not that good. And we may not want to reveal the existence of Mindsingers because we're getting wrecked here. So we're going to put out a Trickster and a Mimic. Use the Trickster, tap down one of the Cavaliers, and we'll see what he comes in with. If we get a chance to block anything relevant, so we can't take 5. Yeah, we're pretty sunk here. So block there. Take 4 damage and go to 1. I don't think I see an out. Oh, and I missed that completely. Alright, yep, we just got run over by a speedy rollout against a pretty slow hand on our side. I wonder if I could have done anything differently in that game to change how it played out. Maybe used the Piranhas earlier on that Mana Dork, but I'll have to watch it back to be sure. Alright, we're going to run back the same sideboard plan. I don't make any changes against Green Ramp, depending on play or draw. But we're definitely much more favored on the play. So that is a reasonable starting hand. We need to draw into another land, though. So with 3 of the Shoreline Scouts out, can we afford to keep this? I don't think so on the play. Alright, this is definitely going to give us more of the land that we're looking for. So we're actually going to pitch one of the Botanical Sanctums and lead off with the Cenote Scouts into hoping to steal a Mana Dork from the Mindsinger and just stutter their game plan. They're down to 6. They've got a ley line to start. So a little bit of card disadvantage, but their plan is on the board. Tishanas, let's keep that in hand. That'll be great to threaten. Alright, and we got a Mana Dork. So put in our Storm Giant's attack. I can't imagine they're going to block here. Put out another Cenote Scout. And we've revealed Sleep. We don't have the mana to cast it, so we gotta pitch it. Sleep is definitely better when it's a surprise, but it will also change the way that they play out their game sometimes now that it's revealed. They'll have to play a little more aggressive, which might play into us or just might force them to actually play a better game. When Green Ramp tries to force our hand a little bit, it's actually usually advantageous for them. Alright, Botanical Sanctum. We've got to play that next. And then roll out our Mindsinger. We will yoink that Elves and get in with our 2 Cenote Scouts. Hopefully that's enough to disrupt whatever their plan was. Taking them off 2 mana, given the Leyline of Abundance, is often enough to derail what they're planning to do. Another Leyline is not great for them. We will play out our Mutavault and get in. Tishana's Tidebinder up means a lot of their good plays we can neutralize. We're hoping for a Planeswalker and not a creature. An Elvish Mystic is not the end of the world. Cavalier, we might as well Tidebinder that ability. Don't let them pull anything off their deck. So they've got 2 blockers. And we will be able to attack for... Alright, let's play a Mutavault. So he's going to be able to block 2 and a 3, taking 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, we got this. So we don't need to play the Tunnel Guide. So just being careful with the Auto Tapper. With new Mutavaults, you never know what it's going to do. And swing in with the team. And that should be enough to win it if my math is right. And we got in for exactly what we needed. Alright, there's a game against Green Ramp. We did our thing game 3, he did his thing game 2, and he kind of stalled out playing too many ley lines game 1, and we took the match.